I can remember Bert Maxwell, that's Bob's father, he was a returning officer for all the Lincolns that he was here for years and years and years. And he always sat down there in the post office lecture time, state and federal lesson, local government, I suppose, all those elections, and I can remember that. And I suppose, going back to the school, all the horses, everybody that drove a horse left it here in grandfather's yard. As Angels had a couple of horses, Wilkins had a horse, and Doreen had a horse, and all the horses come down every day and spent their day in the yard here, and then grandfather, he used to always put our horse in the buggy for us, but he never used to do it for any of you others. He did it for us, but he not as far as I can remember. But that was the horse yard and all the buggies, and so it stopped here. We spent the day at school, and then the Patrick's had a horse. Remember them? Horses. All the new, except sizes. Sizes, they used to keep their horse up in the school yard. So they came here. I can remember that.
Angels good, but we had a big shed for the buggy.
Chester.
Chester was our horse.
And Dean Angel had a little chattel.
Pompey. Little Pompey,
Yeah.
little black one.
Yeah.
There's an old stone barn here. Where he used to live.
Yeah, that's right. So that's pretty important. And as I was thinking about what happened, I can remember when all the troops went through from Adelaide to Darwin during World War II. Us kids were at school, and David, you should be able to remember that. All the troops, all these 150 troop trucks went with all the soldiers past here going to Darwin. You were at school when I went to school, so you should be able to remember that. Who else? I'll never forget that, because the teacher allowed us to go outside and stand at the fence and watch all these troops, and we give them all a hearty wave goodbye because they were going on to Darwin, to land. Very significant that was, that troop. Don't you remember that, David? No, I'm not very sure. Oh, you should be able to remember.
He was wagging that day, I reckon.
And then I also remember the teacher, I think it was Miss O'Born, the teacher at the time. One Melbourne Cup day, the P&G fellas were working along the telephone line. And she took pity on them and she put her wireless out so that they could listen to the Melbourne Cup. And what gesture that would happen these days, would it, you teachers? You wouldn't go out and give your...
No, we're too busy watching on telly.
So, there you have a little bit that I recall. Now, who wants to say something about Whitwarta? Come on. I've said enough.
I can say something that was a bit naughty. My father and his brothers used to love to jump off the bridge into that waterhole.
Yes.
And one day they decided they'd do it on the way home from somewhere or other. They jumped in just white underpants, baggy underpants, and they were reported for being very rude. And they weren't allowed to swim there for a whole month.
And see, you brought up a very interesting subject, but that bridge, the old bridge on the west side of it, that went down about 10 or 12 feet. Now, I've got a photo, and Scott's got it, a photo when they were building that, and where on the edge of the bridge it was at least 8, 10, 12 feet deep before it went out into the river. And it was quite a mammoth task. They had a little railway line and all built to carry all the concrete up when they were building that bridge. And so it'll never ever get washed away. But it was quite a deep one. Now it's all shielded up. Nothing much. Now, who's got some other tales to tell? All quiet, you will. Yeah, most probably. But when you start thinking about it, things haven't changed very much. That tree's been there as long as I can remember. The trees around the river haven't altered very much, have they? We lost the ford when the new bridge was built. We always had the ford down there, but that disappeared when the new bridge was built.
I was just going to say that in the time that we've lived here, as we've gradually cleaned up, we've picked up lots of little bits and pieces that were left over from the time of the blacksmiths working, and also what people had around the place. And Ez and I, when we were doing the cementing, we actually added a few, so we polished them up for the occasion. We added some horseshoes and different size horses that were shoed here, I guess, and those shoes were made here, and you know, we found bucket loads of shoes as we dug up over time, and bits of slag from the slag heap, and just sort of items of jewellery and things like that, pennies, and we've got a whole collection of bits and pieces. And when we dug out the underground tank, we found, we did that about, what, 8-10 years ago, I suppose, and I don't know how long it had been filled up for, but we found crates of little jars and bottles and all that sort of thing. So we've got some of them when we have afternoon tea. If people want to have a look at them, we haven't cleaned them up. We've just kept them as a collection of things, and little medicine bottles, perfume bottles, all those sort of things. And it's amazing, you know, generally speaking, perhaps I suppose it's farming, people had whatever they had, they didn't take to any dump or anywhere, they just left it where they were, and had heaps of various bits and pieces. So. And we've cleaned a lot of it up. Ez has got about 30 tonne up sitting in one of his old dams somewhere in there. There's that we carted up there. So we have picked up a lot of stuff over time.
Time capsule. Right, well,
I think we have got a few bits and pieces for the go.
on the top of it, when we cemented up, that it's not to be opened until 2101.
Might be a good idea if anyone's got any $100 bills to put them in now. They won't be worth much then. Give them to me before you go.
I'm hoping that somebody will be around in 2101 and open it and see who's all been here this afternoon. Has everybody signed the sheet?
No.
If you haven't signed the sheet, please do so, because that will go in the time capsule to say that you were present here in 2001. So do that.
And Ez is organised for some drinks, and we've got tea and coffee and scones and whatever down by the side of the house. You're looking to come around there, bring your chairs.
So please go up to the... That's all right. I've been wanting to do it for a long time, but we finally got it.
I would have, yeah, would have